In this edition of RIN TV, the U.S. extends national flood insurance, Aviva sells off Asian and Irish assets, RIN TV goes to Dublin for the EIF, and a new RIN TV poll on social media. All this and more. You're watching World Risk and Insurance News on RIN TV. Hello, I'm Marisa Christian, and here's what's happening in the world of insurance. The U.S. Senate voted to extend the National Flood Insurance Program for 2 months, giving lawmakers time to work out a deal that would restore fiscal solvency to the program before its charter runs out. If the program does expire, some 5.5 million property owners would be without coverage. British insurer Aviva is selling its South Korean and Sri Lankan businesses, according to Reuters. This on the heels of another agreement reached by Aviva Ireland to sell its personal line business to One Direct. It's all part of Aviva's plan to divest underperforming businesses, raise money, and protect against Eurozone exposures. The Dublin International Insurance and Management Association held its annual European Insurance Forum in Dublin last week. The EIF brought together many industry leaders to discuss threats and regulatory challenges facing the insurance industry in Ireland. Here with a report from Dublin is our own Nina Maria Potts.
Yes, well, I'm here in Dublin for the European Insurance Forum, which is being hosted by the Dublin International Insurance and Management Association, and it's being attended by global industry leaders and experts and commentators. And the theme of the conference is to really look at the shape of the insurance and reinsurance industries over the next 18 months and look at possible risk horizons. Now, I had the opportunity to chat to Sarah Goddard, who's the CEO of DEMA, and also Ireland's Public Expenditure Minister, Brendan Howlin. Here are the highlights of those discussions. How has Dublin been able to position itself at the heart of the global insurance industry, and what makes it so attractive as a domicile?
Over the years, more and more reinsurers and insurers have seen the benefits of what was the original offering, which was pan-European access, cheap, young, highly intelligent labour force. Now that kind of changed a few years ago, but we're seeing the value proposition getting better and better all the time. So what we've created now here, through a number of different areas, a number of different reasons, is a real hub of activity. So certain companies, insurance companies and reinsurance companies, have decided that their structure will be to have a hub operation in Ireland with branches in various countries around the EU, but with everything actually ultimately being controlled and being managed out of the Irish operation and regulated within Ireland by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Minister, thank you so much for joining us. Recent elections across the EU have shown a distinct lack of support for the strict austerity measures being implemented.
I welcome the change. This government here in Ireland welcomes the change in view in the Eurozone and at EU level, that we need obviously to have budget discipline. We need to ensure that we work towards sustainable debt. But at the same time, we need to ensure that we are giving hope to our people by creating jobs and stimulating depressed areas of our Eurozone.
Would Greece's departure from the Eurozone be a good or bad thing, do you think, for the future of the Euro?
I think it's important that we work out our difficulties. We have to do that in a very honest way, and the dialogue between member states has to be an open and an honest one. But it has to be done with respect, and it has to be done in a way that is supportive. So that the weak support the strong. And I think that there is still a real prospect of working out solutions that enable all members of the Euro family to remain part of that family. I think that there's a recognition that the Eurozone is the future currency that will be supported and maintained right across Europe. And in the Irish context, we want to be at the heart of it. We want to continue to attract foreign direct investment. We've done that very successfully.
Some leaders in Europe have suggested that Ireland needs to reconsider its relatively low corporate tax rate.
I think it's something I point out always to my European colleagues, that our tax rate is clear. What you see is what you get. Many of our European colleagues talk about a higher tax rate, but when you drill down, if you take regional discounts within states and so on, they don't operate a tax regime all that different from ours. And when I say that the corporation tax rate that is there will remain a strategic part of our development strategy, that will be the case.
In my next report, I'll have interviews with some of the industry's leading figures. That's it for now in Dublin. Back to you in New York.
The EIF report was brought to you by IDA Ireland. We'd like to thank them for their support. If you'd like to see more of our coverage from the European Insurance Forum, visit our on-demand library. We'll have more of Nina's report in our next program. With all the recent attention on the Facebook IPO, we thought we'd ask you about social media in the workplace. Our new poll asks, which social media do you use at work, if any? We'd like to know. Go to the RIN TV poll located on our homepage and check all that apply. As a reminder, you can follow World Risk and Insurance News on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and on our RIN TV YouTube channel. Well, that's our program. I'm Marisa Christian. You're watching World Risk and Insurance News on RIN TV.